Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Let me just move my camera a bit. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. And this, of course, is Thursday Fry Up. Tonight, I've been kind of unwinding a little bit from all of the absolute political cray-cray that we're all just being saturated with of late. And I've been watching more Traitors Australia. It's so good. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, ah, yeah. Anyway, so a little bit of TV distraction. I have your questions in. Thank you so much for everyone who's put in their questions. And I was with clients today as well, so a little shout out. Who was I with today? Patty, and who else was I with? Patty and Annabelle. Sorry, Patty and Annabelle, I remember now. Anyway, so wow, so much stuff is happening, isn't it, guys? So much. And of course, many of you, of course, have been watching my channel for a long time, and particularly, this Thursday Fry Up. And thank you, everyone for your support of this show. And as you know, I've been talking about this great awakening, isn't it? This rude awakening. And I said, guys, watch, yeah, just you wait and see until all of this kind of stuff, and just look at it. It was happening before anyway with the eclipses, yeah, like I said, the energy was building, but particularly once that solar eclipse got in, we had all of the stuff, didn't we, with the signal gate, the people involved on the signal gate, involved on on websites, etc., all of this kind of stuff. We had Trump's big what was it, Liberation Day, which we've all seen has been an unmitigated disaster, particularly for the stock market, etc. We've had assassination attempts with Uranus on the star Algol right on that day. What is it? Josh Shapiro and his family were attacked. There was a 5.2 earthquake in San Diego, I think there was. All of the various different kind of forms of betrayal and this, that, and the other. And then, of course, with Duck Larange declaring homegrowns next. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. And then, of course, the tariffs. So from what I understand, when we last checked, yeah, it was 145% against China. Yeah, do you remember? He said put 145% against China. Then it was like, well, some electricals are exempt, phones won't be part of it. And then he's like, no, it's back on again, etc. China have put theirs at 125%, and I said, look, no more. We're not going to do any more after that, because after that it's just pointless. Yeah, the numbers just become pointless, and we're just going to ignore America. Then I hear that he's done something which is 200. Was it 245% on certain things, and it's just madness, isn't it? It's just madness. But you know what the ultimate betrayal is? It's of the American people. Yeah, really, especially those that did not vote for this. They didn't vote for Duck Larange, and the whole world is having it. But it's just astonishing. Oh, and I've just got one of these updates here from when you follow a YouTube and you get a post and it says Americans can't afford to buy groceries in 2025. From Jay Reed kind of podcast. How funny is that? Yeah, I was just talking about that. Anyway, yes. So Minx, yeah, it's 245% for China. I mean, it's almost meaningless now. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Let's see who else is here. Lisa says, love the sound of the whistleblowers. I'm so here for it. They are incredibly brave. Yes, indeed they are. Let's see here. What's this here? Home of Signal Gate, Palo Alto, California. Oh, I don't know if I don't know if I understood that properly. Let's just see here. Laurie's saying the whistleblowers for NLB and FB. Do you mean Facebook? Sorry if I. What you got to remember is I'm not American, so sometimes the abbreviation is like I don't know what it means. Sorry. Just be aware of that. Sometimes you're going to have to write it long form, like the Department of blah blah blah. Just so I know, because I'm not American, so I'm not always familiar, unless it's a really famous, really famous one. Hello from Ohio, Becky. Nice to see you. Oh, a bit of Texas in the house, Deborah. Nice to see Texas here. You see, it's very diverse. It's everyone, so many people, and around the world as well. Watch this show. Who else? Oh, we've got here from South Carolina, Lilith. So nice to see you. Oh, what's this? Oldie Wind Walker. Love that. Love that. Oh, Las Vegas is in the house. Loving that. And then Mary's from Boys. And this is Sharon Rose. So nice to see you. Thank you. Nick Minks, evening, Hogarth. Good to catch you live for once. All right, let's dive in, huh? Got your questions here. Let's just let rip. And in fact, we're going to be talking about Alberta today. I'm there thinking that Canada is speaking with one voice, yeah, boycotting America, etc. But there's some voting that's going to be happening soon in Alberta, and it's a bit shocking. Seems like they might want to vote to leave. I was like, what? But anyway, we'll get into that. I've got a clip lined up to share. So let's see who's first. Let's just dive into the content. So Cheryl Renee says, oh, look, Cheryl, I think you clarified your question from last time, didn't you? So are there warehouses of Russian and Chinese hackers currently working on the stolen personal data provided by Elon Musk, to destroy American citizens' credit? And should those individuals freeze their credit to protect themselves? Good question, and nice and concise. Thank you. That puts everything into context, doesn't it? All right, let's take a look at that. Because I think it was established that he has, because we did read out your question on Hogelish yesterday, didn't we? And it was established that basically he sold that stuff. But the question here is that are there Russian and Chinese warehouses basically working on that information? And should individuals freeze their credit to protect themselves? All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at that question. Self-protection, freezing credit, and box slab. Let's see. To protect themselves. Let's see what the cards have to say. Oh, bloody hell. Well, look at this. Now, as you know, I don't often get reversals, so when reversals do come, they are very significant. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which means that in terms of the areas of this question, are people, Russians and Chinese working on certain farms and stuff on this information that may or may not have been sold to them by Elon Musk with his raids. And I think it came up even with a Russian IP address and stuff like that. And the cards on last night's show said he's doing it. And again, this does show more inclination to that. Wheel of Fortune is precisely that. It's a time of fate and destiny, where the future is being decided. When the card is the right way up, when it's this way, it means good luck is more likely. However, it came out reversed, and you see here the demon is on top, which means a more unlucky outcome is more likely. So this isn't, well, it's not a great omen, isn't it? So it would suggest that they are working on that stuff, and they might be, you know, they might be doing dodgy stuff with what may or may not have been given to them by Elon. Yeah. But just in case we weren't sure, look at the card that shows up in the obstacle position. The card of theft. Yes, Seven of Swords, the card of theft. This is a classic. And as we know, this guy here is wearing his little Russian hat. So, of course, Elon is stealing this information. And then who? Most likely giving it to the Russians and the Chinese as well. And you see, it's about weakening the camp. This thief here doesn't take every single sword. There's still a couple of left, but it severely weakens it. So he's doing this to, you know, it's to basically undermine the American people. I mean, these are so treacherous. And when you think of what Elon owes America and Americans and the American taxpayer to be doing this sort of stuff to America, that has basically made him what he is, and he's screwing everyone over like this. He's the worst. This is the treachery of treacheries, yeah? Because he's technically an American citizen. It should be revoked, of course, but imagine that. You come to America on a sketchy student visa, overstay your welcome once it's run out, and you use your wiles and your scams or whatever to climb the slippery pole. But rather than being grateful for the life that you've been able to live in the country that's effectively adopted you, you stab them all in the back. Yeah, stab them all in the back. Here, I think this is a bit of bad news, unfortunately. I wish it could be more optimistic, but you know, I have to answer the question. As you guys know, I just read the cards as they come without fear or favor or judgment. So here you can see, look, someone's upset. This is also the card of betrayal, of losses. 3 of the cups are down, but 2 are left standing. And let's not forget 2 as well. 2 swords are left standing here. So it may not be a complete devastation and gutting out, but there could be a lot of people potentially affected by these data breaches, because it just seems to indicate that, you know, Elon is, you know, I mean, why else does he want to get his information, his grubby mitts on it? You know, he didn't need any of that information to make efficiencies. Yeah. So what is he taking it for? Obviously for nefarious purposes. You know, he doesn't have any good intentions. Let me just put my phone on airplane mode. And you've heard me say it before. You guys will remember me saying this. I said, Elon wants to propagate himself. Don't know how that still managed to make a sound. Elon wants to propagate himself. Do you remember what I said? And it wasn't really, it sounded outlandish, but I said he wants to create an army of himself, yeah, of his genes, and populate Mars. Do you remember I was saying that? Things have emerged where literally private messages between him and one of his baby mamas, he's like, we need to be legion. Yeah, we need to be legion. I want to be legion, which basically that's an old term from the Roman Empire, where you have your legions, where you have your troops. Yeah, he wants to repeat himself. I think he wants mass pregnancies. That's what he wants. Yeah, mass pregnancies. Someone, in the comments, was telling me in Ohio, that apparently there's some of the legislators there that want to start with 13-year-old girls and stuff. I know this is really creepy stuff, but this is the wavelength of these people. Elon's got 14 kids already, artificial insemination. So imagine when, like, all of the Medicaid and Medicare and all of that kind of stuff, when that's all broken down, people are going to be desperate. And he's going to be like, right, okay, if you have one of my kids, yeah, then you're going to be looked after. You'll have food. Yeah, that's, you see, that you have to kind of, it's only because I've got quite a dark imagination that I can go there. And it's already proving true. I just got that intuitively. I said, this is what he wants to do. I saw him kind of wanting to populate Mars with people in his like image, but he wants to do it on Earth as well. These people are sick and twisted. Anyway, here's Elon. Yeah, King of Wands, as you know, is an entrepreneurial card, etc. So I think this is him. And he just sees it as business. Yeah, this is a card as well of entrepreneurship wands and stuff like that. And the outcome is that people have to be strong. So I would suggest for those watching, where Cheryl Renee has said, yeah, and she says here, are there warehouses of Russian and Chinese hackers currently working on the stolen personal data provided by EM to destroy American citizens' credit? And should those individuals freeze their credit to protect themselves? So yeah, maybe guys, that might be something that you need to look into. Yeah, to be strong, to protect yourself. Don't wait for it to happen. That's what I would say. Nothing is beyond these people, unfortunately. And Elon is just, ugh. Yeah, awful. You can see those cards. You know, you can see those cards. You can see that betrayal. I wish that could have been a little bit more, you know, upbeat or whatever. But look at the times. Yeah, look at the situation that we're in. And then I'll read the next question. It's question number 2. Let's see who else is in the house. Oh, there's a Moscow one. All right, let's see here. Let's see who else is with us all tonight. Yeah, Pathwork said absolutely, it's the American people who are being betrayed. Yeah, betrayed. Marlene says speaking the truth. Thank you. That man is insane for real. Yeah, it's true. What's this? Trina's saying Trump is creating such chaos, but the MAGA GOP, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, keep lauding him. They don't care about the people who aren't billionaires or millionaires. It's true. They're obsessed. It's like, for me, the MAGA cult, I would say when it comes to MAGA, you can replace the name Jesus with money, and that shows you where they are. It's like a cross between sort of like a death cult and a wealth cult at the same time. Let's not forget, Duck Larange in Mar-a-Lago's got his golden goat. Yeah, the golden goat with, let me see if I can find it for you. He says after putting his flow in an airplane mode, and then in fact it will be better. Let's just share it. Let me just share my screen. Let's do in fact, let me just do 1 minute on momento. Let me just put here Trump's golden goat Mar-a-Lago. See if we can find an image of it. Yeah, I found it for you. All right, so like I said this is a cult of what? Money. It's also a death cult as well, and I think they're eugenic. I think they're eugenicists. But you'll see what I mean here. Just so you know, as you know, I mean, like, you know, I don't just make stuff up. You know, I say these things for a reason. Here we are. So in case of those of you who may not have seen it, voila. This is Trump's golden goat in, I think it's in Mar-a-Lago. Look, and he's got this lady here standing there. Well, you know, these are probably fake, but anyway, let's not look at that. So yeah, look here, golden, yeah, and that money is apparently, it's got Trump's face on it. Do you see? Look, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Let me see if I can get it. Look at this. Trump-themed goat statue at Mar-a-Lago sparks Christian outrage over "In Trump We Trust" message. A Trump-themed statue wrapped in Trump We Trust" $100 bills ignites controversy among Christians. Obviously not that much, yeah? because they're still supporting him. Look, I mean, what a vulgar monstrosity. But there it is. You see, little golden tail, golden horns. So you can see, guys, it's worship of the gold. You can't make this stuff up, isn't it? It's beyond parody. They literally worship money. It's like in the Bible, the worship of the golden calf. This time it's worship of the golden goat. They are crazy. They are crazy, crazy, crazy people. Love and light. Debnik is saying thank you. Oh, Hull. Hello, Trina. I didn't know you were in Hull. Lovely. So nice to see UK represented here. Central Texas is here. Lovely. NC is here. Denise. Iowa. Lovely. Lovely to see you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here we are. Mink says, I'm representing the UK Mancunians. Yes. Which is Manchester, by the way, folks, just in case you don't know. What's this? What's this here? Hi, Ogie. Thank you for your programs, which are keeping me sane. Did you hear the Chinese say we will not be bullied by USA? We have been here 5,000 years. Pre-USA was a thought. Yes. In fact, on my reflections video, if you've not seen it, I'll try and link it afterwards. I talk about the China-US sanctions, but I talk about elements of Chinese culture, Confucius, and in one of the strap lines I put there, China literally has 5,000 years of contiguous history. 5,000 years. So we're talking pre-Roman Empire, yeah, or there or thereabouts. No, but it would have to be pre-Roman Empire. Yeah, this is proper ancient stuff. China, look, we know China's not perfect. I'm not going to pretend, we know about, the things with the Uyghurs and the stealing of intellectual property and stuff like that. But they are an ancient culture. China plays the long game. Do you know China has already got its plans for the future? They published their plans for the future, which go up to 2045. 2045. Duck L'Orange doesn't know what's going to happen next week, next day. Yeah. 2045. They started planning for the Trump tariffs when he came in 2017. That's when they launched their plans to cover themselves for this moment now. Yeah, vision. You don't mess with the Chinese. You do not mess with them. They're very, very, very clever, intelligent people, resourceful people. I wouldn't dream of insulting the Chinese. Wouldn't dream of it. They'll just make a plan for, 5 years in advance when they're going to kind of just mess you up. Do you know what I mean? Plot out the bits anyway. Let's go to question number 2. So this one's come in from Nick Minks, actually. Thank you. She puts here Moscow, April 17th, Reuters. Russia and Qatar signed an agreement on Thursday under which each country will pay an extra 1 billion euros, which they've written here is $1.14 billion, into a joint investment fund, a Russian official said. Are the rich Middle East countries complicit in aiding Russia in their war against Ukraine? ? As there's no money in the Russian bank, surely this only serves the war. Great question. Oh, there's over 600 of you with me right now. Thanks so much. Great question, Nick Mintz. Let's dive in. Let's see what the cards have to say. What I would say is this. With Duck L'Orange simultaneously weakening the US economy, weakening America's reputation on the world stage, it's so sad. Weakening the economic prospects because, they're saying recession is more than likely 60% more likely now, they're saying. He has also strengthened the hand, not only of China, but because everyone has to run to China's bosom. And, China's like, wow, of course. Why not? I learned something on, slight digression, learned something on, I was watching a bit of independent media, And on this independent media, they were quoting people from China. And the Chinese have now coined this new phrase, and it's I can't remember how it goes, but it's like Trump, and then they say Chinese, which I can't repeat, and I don't want to impersonate because that would just seem offensive. But it basically, the second word stands for like state building, the uprising of the state and it being made solid. So they're basically, the nickname for Trump now in China apparently is state builder. Now, why would the Chinese call him state builder? The reason why they're calling Trump state builder is because he's offended the whole world. And with his tariffs, everyone is now going to China, understandably. Yeah. China's a lot of things, but they're not crazy. Yeah. They're not unpredictable in that sense. When you do trade with them, it's trade. Yeah. I mean, you know, there is an element where, you know, they might, you know, take some of your intellectual property, some of your ideas and sell you back your own idea done much better and at 2/3 of the price. Yeah. I mean, it's like, but this is well known. Yeah. Every country has its quirks. Yeah. This is well known. This is how superpowers compete. Yeah, everyone's taking everyone's intellectual property, but they can also invent things for themselves. And in fact, China is actually one of the most inventive cultures to ever have existed. They invented fireworks, the clock, which was like a water clock. They invented paper. Yeah, they even had the printing press before the printing press. It's just because of some of the revolutions, they sadly destroyed some of their own evidence. Circumnavigated the globe, you know, before Christopher Columbus. That's why so many places in Mexico have Xi in them, XI, and all of this kind of stuff, because the Chinese were there before. Anyway, God, I get too passionate sometimes, don't I? Let's look at this. So I was reading on, is Russia being helped by the Middle East? With my digression, I had a leaner digression there. Let's have a look. It's the Middle East. I mean, what I hear intuitively is, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In a way, it's almost like the Middle East is a bit of the silent partner here. Obviously, they don't approve of what's going on in Palestine, but they're good chess players as well. Yeah. All right, here we go. This is Russia. Yeah. This is Putinshka, but this is just Russia overall. But let's say Putinshka, because this is his war at the end of the day. You know, the people don't really want it. They're trying to their best, but they're dealing with a very, very efficient dictator. This is the card of being what? Embattled. Yeah. Here you can see the soldier trying to come through, but he's persevering. He's tenacious. We know that Putinshka is very determined, very tenacious, and should never be underestimated. You can never underestimate this character. He may be battled, but he's still got a weapon, still alive, and very shrewd and cunning. This is a card of shrewdness and cunning, Putinshka. If we look here, look at that. We have the World card. And in a way, you could say it's in the obstacle position, but not quite, because you can't quite call the 9 of Wands a negative card. So this is reinforcing. So here we can see where Russia has gone to the world. Yeah, this is also talking about the global sanctions and the ways that they've been able to get around them. I think they are still struggling in their economy, but they have enough lifelines to stay afloat for this long. Yeah, they didn't collapse in 10 minutes like a lot of people thought they would. This can also as well talk about the Middle East, internationalism. Yeah, so you can see Russia is shrewd and reaching out to international friends and allies. Here in the middle, we see the 8 of Pentacles, which talks about studiousness, working towards a goal, something. You're wanting to produce a result. This can also talk about manufacturing as well. So, of course, there was a question, I think, which was asking, is China providing weapons? We know that they were providing soldiers. The two that were captured, I think they said that the Russians tried to kill them with chemical weapons to hide the evidence. We also know that North Korea is also providing weapons as well. Yeah, Russia's having to go to the world for its manufacturing. Also as well, Iran helped produce some of the drones. But you see, what is that as bad as Putinska is, he has friends. Yeah, he understands it's important to have allies, even when you're the bad guy. Yeah, maybe someone should tell that to Duck Larange. Yeah, you can't be the evil bad guy and be there on your own. Doesn't work. Yeah, doesn't work. You just be picked off by your enemies. If we look here, Putinska is trying very much to hold on. Yeah, but this was also about the Middle East as well. So this could also talk about collaborations and workings with the Middle East. Yeah, of course, Russia has a lot of the natural resources that it can sell. So I think in terms of the Middle East, it's about preserving positions. Yeah, holding on to positions as a form of strategy. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much love between these countries, but you know, America's doing a lot of the work for everyone in a way. Yeah, but here we see disagreements and stuff. So what that suggests to me is that these connections, these alliances, they're not deep. They could quite easily fracture, and there could be some disagreements about the way to go forward. Because let's not forget, Europe needs to be factored in here as well. A lot of people are saying Europe is over. I disagree. I looked at Europe's chart, and they are having that renaissance. You remember me predicting, guys, about a month ago? I said the seat of power is now with Europe. They're going to have a renaissance. And they're now spending a lot more money and funds, and they've actually shown themselves to have quite the bit of backbone, because Europe can really punish American companies in ways that the rest of the world can't. Yeah. So, but in terms of Middle East, Russia, yes, working together, but it may not last. Yeah. These connections may not be deep ones, but there is a shared vision. Yeah. Shared vision. So thanks so much for that. Let's have a scroll through, see who else is here. Let's see. Oh, we got Los Angeles in the house. Lovely. Oregon is here, Utah, New Mexico. Oh, sorry, I just went through Paula. I was just reading. Chris. Sorry about that. Just ripped through like the locations and forgot to read the name. Marlene, Central Texas as well. Quite a few of you in Central Texas. Yeehaw. Yeah. Nebraska is in the house. Indiana is in the house. So Tina Childers, and then how do I say Dania? I hope I've said that right. Let's see here. Bunny Young says, only listen to tarot readers and mediums anymore. No more TV news. Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you. You know, I still tune in just to see whatever the BS may be, or to sift the little gold nuggets that may be there, but I don't blame you. Chris says, hi from Santa Fe. Oh, I love Santa Fe when I was there. As you know, I was there last year. Oh, Phoenix, Arizona's in the house. Who else is here? California, Winnie Boo. I forgot to say, Raymond is here, and it was Daynabe. Many of you are in. Oh, we've got Tampa, Florida here as well. Fabulous. All right, let's. Ooh, what's this? Oh, what's this? What's this? Linda Bruce, did you hear that? Von Shittenpants swore in KKK to track down supposedly immigrate. Watch out for anyone around the neighborhood who doesn't recognize laws. Help us all. Wait, I'm not sure if I quite understand that. Is everyone else getting it? Did you hear Von Shittenpants? So I think you're talking about Trump. Duck Larange swore in a KKK track down supposedly immigrants. Watch out for anyone. So I think what you're saying is Dr. Orange has recruited members of the KKK to go after immigrants. Is that correct? Is that a bit more concise? Hopefully, when I click that up on the screen, hopefully, you know, YouTube won't demonetize the video. They can be very fickle, you know, very fickle. Alberta is a question here. Yes, Glenna Miles says, Alberta is our problem child, perpetually dissatisfied, always feeling like Trump, they are being ripped off. So bizarre. Wow. Okay, let's get to the next question. Actually, this is it. The Alberta question is here. How perfect. So Percat has also asked, as well as Jerry Gelding. Yeah, Jerry Geld. So Jerry says, hi, Hogarth, could you please read on the Canadian election on April 28th? They put question mark. So I think, of course, this is talking about Alberta. Today is April 17th. So we're talking about 10, 11 days. And then Percat says, Hogarth, I'm really concerned about the direction, I think they meant to say, of Alberta, or direction Alberta, Canada is going. What are your insights? Awesomeness. So I had to do a little bit of research, because that's like, you can imagine for me, I was a little bit flummoxed, yeah, because what all we've been hearing is that Canada is, you know, united, boycotting everything American and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, okay, great. You know, everyone's rowing in the same direction, even Quebec and stuff like that. And then I hear about Alberta. So let me share this clip with you guys, folks, and then we'll discuss, and let's fling some cards on it as well. All right, so let's do share screen. Let's do present, share screen. Let's find it. Where is the one? Now this is from Global. Now I just did a Google. I do not know the political affiliation of this channel. I mean, of this. 1 minute. Let me just make sure that I enabled the sound. Let me just be, yes, also share tab. Yeah, share tab audio. Okay, good. Here. So share. So this is Global National, which from what I understand is, I think it's a Canadian news channel. Anyway, this is what this newscaster has to say.
But something else has resurfaced in Alberta: separatism. It's an old idea built on grievances with Ottawa, and now some Albertans want to take it a step further, not just leave Canada, but join forces with the U.S.
Hey, buddy.
From his ranch in Alberta's foothills,
we're not separating from Canada. Canada separated from us.
Lawyer Jeff Rath is one of the loudest voices of Alberta separatism.
The citizens of Alberta will stop being overtaxed and overregulated by people from Ontario and Quebec that basically govern for their own benefit and treat us like a colony.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state.
And a group in Alberta is apparently on board.
This is Rath on Fox News in March.
Becoming a U.S. territory or pursuing full statehood.
I asked him why he thinks the U.S. will treat Alberta better than Canada does.
It's in their interest to have as much oil and gas coming out of Alberta as possible.
Right, but you think you'd maintain your independence?
Of course we would.
Within the United States?
No, outside of the United States as an independent country.
Oh, so you're not talking? I'm just.
No, you're still stuck on why do you want to join the U.S.? I told you we're not necessarily going to join the United States.
Okay.
Right. So
I thought I read that you were thinking of going down there to talk to the Trump administration.
Well, we are, and meetings are in the process of being scheduled.
He claims to have thousands of supporters. A recent poll found 30% of Albertans would vote to leave the Federation if the Liberals win the election.
What?
And 42% of Conservative backers say they'd want to join the U.S.
The whole 51st state debate has introduced a whole other element to this Alberta secession discussion.
Wow! Jeez! Did you see that? Did you hear that, guys? Alberta? I knew they were a bit different. Yeah, I knew they were a bit different. I didn't know they were that different. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, folks? Jesus. Well, no wonder Percat and Jerry asked the question. Wow. You see, Do you remember, you know, what am I always saying? Never underestimate Duck Larange. Not that you guys do. Do you see? He has this voodoo. He has this voodoo over people. It's like he is the lightning rod of grievance. Wow. As an independent, he was talking potentially as an independent country within Canada, but also aligned with the United States. When the rest of Canada, as far as I'm aware, is completely in lockstep and boycotting America. Well, we'd have to see which one holds out for longer. And the election is coming up, yeah, towards the end of April, maybe even 10 to 11 days from now. Gee whiz. Let's see what the cards say. As you know, I'm not going to judge. Whatever the cards say is whatever the cards say. So let's take a look. What is the energy around Albertans? Do they seriously wish to secede from the rest of Canada? Jesus. My God. That was news to me. Like, you could see how I was reacting. I thought I had the most of the story, but I let the tape play longer. Wow. What are your thoughts on that, guys? What are your thoughts on that? Do let me know in the comments and in the chat. Bloody hell, Alberta. Alberta, where are they going? Alberta. We get cards like the Tower. Yeah, they may shock. We get death. That would be another one, not in that literal, but in the transformation. Four of Swords as well would be one to... We get the Seven of Swords. If we get sort of treacherous cards, or even the Five of Swords, like an abuse of power or something, let's see. But if they're peaceful... That was the card that I forgot to say. Oh, gee whiz. You won't believe this. Oh. Thanks for the questions, guys. You know what? There's always an element of surprise, you know, with a live show. You never quite know where it's going to go. Look at this. So I said cards of betrayal, stuff like that. Look what comes out first. The Ten of Swords. Being stabbed in the back. Will Alberta stab the rest of Canada in the back? Maybe. They might do it. Wow. Look at the next card, which is showing up in the obstacle position. Three of Swords. Heartache. Betrayal. A sense of betrayal. Both these cards deal with betrayal. This one deals with endings. Yeah. I think they do want to secede. Well, I mean, what is it? 42%? What was that survey saying? It was in the 40 percentiles, wasn't it? Of people apparently that want to join the United States. Wow. Look at the first two cards out. And then look in the middle. We've got here the Knight of Wands, which is a very action-oriented card. You can see this is about taking action, rearing forward, bursting forth. However, the shadow of this card is impulsiveness and immaturity. Rash decisions. They might make a rash decision because of gung-ho people like that lawyer that we just saw. And then look here. We get the Knight. See, two knights together. We've got the Knight of Cups here, which is about what? Seduction, the envoy, diplomacy. It's almost like, will the Albertans betray mainland Canada and make their offer to America? Or is it the case that Duck Larange? Oh, of course, it would have to be Duck Larange, wouldn't it? If they were to vote for independence or something, then Duck Larange would be like, come, be part of our 51st state, which would then help him to win the argument. Oh my. You can't make this stuff up. Outcome card. Page of Pentacles, which talks about money. Yeah, announcements about money. This isn't even big money. It's not, do you see, it's not a big money card, but it's money. There'll be something. Oh my God. Will Duck L'Orange make a money offer to the people of Alberta if the election, if they vote to kind of secede or something, or if they do something rash? Yeah, if they do something rash. Because if you read the cards from the other way, I'll read it backwards, and this can also show what's going on in the mind of the people of Alberta. They feel like they're being shortchanged, yeah, as that lawyer was saying. And they don't like the messages coming out of what they describe as woke Canada. Yeah, they don't like the messaging. So they've decided they're going to get on their horse and maybe do something about it this election, because they feel upset and heartbroken over their circumstances, and they feel betrayed. But it's going to flip round. It looks like maybe they might be the ones that actually betray Canada, which will cause tremendous heartbreak, which would also break a bit of that deadlock, wouldn't it? I think obviously the rest of the Canadians will still boycott, but wow. You saw those cards, folks. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys, in the comments. Gee whiz. I got goosebumps with that. Ooh, shivers. Minxie Neck is saying, yeah, hoping Canadians stay true to themselves and steer clear of these the preaching Trump lies, but maybe not. Old Silver saying acronyms are a language in themselves, so many specialized abbreviations. That's true. Oh, Alabama is in the house. Hello, Light Seeker, nice to see you. Thank you so much. What's this here? Ashley's saying the Russians would use all of this information to their advantage and be using it in multiple ways against the US and other countries. Absolutely, of course they will. Irrespective of what Duck L'Orange says. Putin is just like, oh, sit back down. And China is like, yeah, as if he can compete with those two, with Xi and Putinshka. Like, come on, really? You know. Raymond, too late. Russia and China credit rating shot beat you to it. Too late. Russia and China credit rating shot beat you to it. I'm not sure if I understand that, but maybe Russia and China has affected the credit rating of the United States. Here, Minxie is saying all foreign countries are benefiting from the disarray in the US. If they are not hacking it, then they are probably giving it freely. Yeah, but it's just opportunities, isn't it? Here we are. And then Marlene saying it's always good to see blues from Texas here. Yes, agreed. Raymond, Elon get lost in a K-hole forever. Yes. What's this? Oh, always have strength and joy. It costs here in the USA to freeze your credit $24.99 per month with Experian Credit Company. That is a lot of money. That is quite a bit from each month. Surely you should be able to give the instruction and that should be it. And then you switch it back on again if you need to. Mary is saying Elon is the one that should be sent to El Salvador. Absolutely, I agree. What's this? So no obvious immorality. What's it? Let's see here. Melania needs to do one. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through. Let's do the. Wow. Lightseeker said, I've heard more than 20 quids for Elon. Because you can imagine how many he would have impregnated so many women at the same time. And do you remember me when I was joking? I said, soon we'll hear he's got 20 kids. Looks like it's already out there already. Yeah, Nanette, building his own little army. Wants males only. Oh, for heaven's sake. He's so damaged, isn't he? He's just absolute damaged goods. Thank you, Sharon Sipe, for sharing my little link to my Facebook archetype. That's where you can read my reviews. I actually need to go through them, actually. Just have a little look. Wow. All right, let's read the next question. That one on Alberta, gee whiz. Oof. And there is 760 of you here with me now. Right, let's look at, we've got one on Harvard here. So we're going to the US, Nick Minks. The US government has threatened to ban Harvard University from enrolling foreign students. Oh, Jesus. After the institution said it would not bow to demands from President Donald Trump's administration, and it was hit with a funding freeze. Again, can Harvard survive, or will it look to move abroad in the face of adversity? Oh, this is how it all begins, doesn't it, guys? What's the saying? They fascinate the fools and they silence the intelligentsia. Playbook of fascism. Harvard. So Harvard, of all places, is in it seems like they're in a pickle. If they've had their funding frozen, wow, that's tough. Harvard, you know, one of the most august and respected universities in the world. What kind of results for its students obviously depends on a case-by-case basis, and I'm sure there are people who have maybe not so favorable stories from Harvard, but internationally, Harvard, and of course domestically in America, is known as one of the creme de la creme. It's up there with Oxford and Cambridge and all of that stuff. Wow, Harvard. What's going on with Harvard? And then we've got some questions on Duck L'Orange. How am I doing on time? All right, I need to hurry up a little bit. Harvard. What times, eh, folks? But for me, that Alberta reading, jeez. Let me know your thoughts, Guy. Oh, look at that. I've got to turn the camera. Well, look, Wheel of Fortune is back and upside down. I need to put it. I need to put it back. I need to put it back in. I think I did put it in the right way up. But anyway, yeah, I think I did. It's come. Look, either way, it's come reversed again. So it shows that unfortunately the wheel is turning, but luck is not favoring Harvard on this one. Yeah, the demon's at the top. Sorry, guys. If we look here. In the next position, we got the Page of Swords. Pages, of course, are all about messages. This can actually talk about media, social media. This can also be the students, yeah? This also talks about sharp words, sharp dialogue, but this can also talk about the spy in the camp as well. If we look here, look, another page comes out. Stinky fish. And you know, this is a bit of an unfavorable card for me. It just means unpleasant surprises. Someone speaks out of turn or reveals an unpleasant message. Yeah, this could be Duck L'Orange declaring his lack cutting funding, etc. But this is also as well like they are being censured for their speech because the regime doesn't like what they're saying. Yeah. Here there's a part of Harvard that wants to go back to the past. Yeah, the six of cups, which is about nostalgia. It's also about children as well, but it's a sense of innocence, nostalgia, looking back fondly on the past. Yeah, so Harvard is like, shoot. Yeah, I want to go back to the old days when we weren't dealing with this regime. But look, you see they're conflicted. Harvard is not sure what to do. Here you see there's the 5 different players here, and they're all wearing different colored tunics. And they're competing with each other. So it means there's not a political consensus within Harvard at the moment. So they're not sure how to respond. Do they stand up, yeah, for free speech and maintain their sharp critiques in the face of diabolical messages from the regime? Or do they go back to the past? Do they comply for an easy life, yeah, to have things more smooth? They're not sure. Harvard is conflicted. And look, this time you're going to be seeing me like with this card. Look, the what, turning it back that way. If it comes back in upside down, then you know Spirit has done it. Wow, tough one for Harvard. Let's see here. Right, let's look. We got some. Let's take a Trump question. Trump's government cabinet will face charges, human rights abuses. Let's see here. So Manuela Orchid has asked, hi Hoagie, wishing you a lovely Easter and a good time with friends and family. My simple question today would be, if Trump gets consequences for his actions this year, and from who would that probably be? Thank you. All right. So will Duck L'Orange get some kind of comeuppance this year? Will Trump? Let's see. If we get cards that are dramatic, if we get the Tower, again, death, transformative cards, then it will be more likely. If the Wheel of Fortune comes back, but if the cards are docile or passive or positive, then maybe not. So let's see. Let's see if he gets positive cards, neutral or unfavorable. Duck L'Orange, Duck L'Orange. Will he get a comeuppance this year? Will people... Well, listen to this. One thing I can be sure of, the more money he loses people, the less support he will get, because that's what he promised them, yeah? That's what the worship is, yeah? Remember I showed you that picture of the golden goat with dollar bills on it, with Duck L'Orange's face on there? That's what they want him for. Like I said, with this kind of Christo-fascist cult, you replace the name Jesus with money, and that tells you what they're all about. So when they say, one of them said, in Jesus's name, blah, 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 when really he was saying, in the name of money. That's it. He said, in the name of Jesus, blah, I denounce you, which was something said to Mike Johnson. But replace Jesus with money, and that's really what it's about. So if Trump doesn't perform on the economy and he's not doing a great job, if he starts to lose too much money for people, then of course he will lose support overall. He already is, but let's just see. Let's see what Spirit has to say. I knew this card would come up. I knew it. Oh, maybe. Manuela, maybe. But it's not nailed on. Maybe he might face a comeuppance this year. If we look, there are secret plots. Yeah, the Queen of Cups, as we know, this card can deal with imagination, creativity, sensitivity, etc. But you see here, she's got secrets here in her crucible. This can mean secret plots. There are people having discussions and contingency plans about Duck L'Orange because he's being so disastrous for the economy with all these tariffs and all of that kind of stuff. So look, a plot is afoot. What kind of plot? Yeah. Look, we got the devil. Yeah. This is also talking about Trump. But it's not just him, it's those around him, the ones that have drunk the Kool-Aid, yeah? As you see here, and as you know, I've drawn some little underwear on my cards here because the algorithm doesn't like nudity very much. But you can see here, there's the devil, Duck L'Orange, and these are his minions. But you'll notice the chains are loose. They could actually take, especially in the traditional deck, they could take the chains off, but they're attached to him. Because they're attached to the devil, because they believe ultimately the devil is their best bet. This is a card that talks about mental illness, addiction, corruption, yeah, duplicity, treachery, which of course Duck L'Orange has got in spades. But there is a secret plot. So there is a secret plot to potentially betray Duck L'Orange, but who is going to be delivering that? Now, you might find this interesting. Just over 800 of you here with me right now. Thanks so much. Look who shows up in the middle. It's the world. I think what this says to me, if there is a comeuppance for Duck L'Orange, the world is going to do it. Is that because of maybe they attack the bond markets? I hope they don't, because that's going to affect, obviously, ordinary Americans a lot. But it's like the attack or the plot is going to come from the rest of the world. people are obviously making different and trade alliances now and stuff like that. As a result of that, America's going to have less money. Yeah, it's going to have less money. Ordinary Americans might have to tighten their belts because, of course, obviously all these tariffs and stuff are going to raise prices higher. It's not come through fully yet, but imagine once we start getting to June, July, August, September, you know, November, it's going to be very, very apparent. But look here. We get the Three of Cups, which is talking about a celebration. A celebration. Who could be celebrating? There could be an element where there might be people, countries rejoicing in America's difficulties. That could also be a possibility. Or is this something that the Americans do themselves? Could this be something where something happens and it might get rid of Duck L'Orange? But I don't see a Tower card, a Death card, a Four of Swords. So, and because of the World card here in the middle, next to the Devil, I think it's going to be more the global economy. The global economy and finances is going to be what is going to put more pressure on Trump, especially as people have to hold on to their money, even the rich people. And then there might be some kind of celebration. Let me pull a clarifier. I can't just leave it there, can I? Let me pull 3 clarifiers. Does this mean that Duck L'Orange will be upended before the end of the year? Is that what this means? We get dramatic cards, then of course that could be. If they're benign, then maybe not. This could be an ending for Duck L'Orange before the end of the year. Could this be an ending for Duck L'Orange before the end of the year? Let's see. No. I don't think so. Sorry. I have to say what I see. I said, could this be an end for Duck L'Orange before the end of the year? But look at the cards that have come. Look, we get the Nine of Pentacles here, which is the card of having everything that you want. Yeah, money, security, etc. I think he's just enriching himself. He's just making himself richer, quite literally. You see, he's just making himself richer. It's a big part of what the money is. And then when we look here, look, he gets the Victory card. Oh, God, yeah, gets the Victory card. So he's successful in enriching himself, but there may be some temperance, some moderation in regards to what? Global trade, yeah, wands, business, trade. Here, the globe, making decisions. So what I'm thinking it is that he may have to modify his position on the tariffs, maybe because of global pressure, and maybe because people start getting into hardship, and then he changes course, and maybe that's what causes the celebration. But ultimately, it's about him enriching himself. And he succeeds in that. And I think it's because he changes in some way on the tariffs, or the world make him change in some way, which probably causes the celebration. But I'm not seeing him removed before the end of the year. Sorry, not with that. Do you see the cards were kind of too good? Anyway, I will leave it there. Let me just scroll through. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Liz. Much appreciated. Thank you, Jerry. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for your donations. Let's just have a quick scroll down. Oh, Princess of Foolishness says, oh, that's a great name. Newcastle here, but I'm an American. Our secret. Shh. You might have outed yourself now. Los Angeles is here. Oh, look. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say the name. Crystal Blue. A good day from Central Coast Down Under. Good day, Space Girl. Thank you. Even Australia has joined us here in the house. And let's just see here. Trina saying, haven't China cancelled an order for Boeing planes that were due to be supplied over the next 20 years? Yes, that is correct. They have. China has also had enough after these tariffs, these 245. They have now stopped the post. Any shipments of post that were coming out of China, anyone who's ordered stuff on Temu, stopped with immediate effect. No post coming in, no post going out. And the air freight is stopped on the 27th of April. So yeah, it's getting kind of dark, isn't it? God, let's just see here. Hogov Chinese. Yes, David says the Chinese invented gunpowder, but the Japanese invented fireworks. Oh, thank you. Thanks for that clarification. So there we are. Bit of an education. Oh, what's this here? Moni say middle nation broke down the Middle East relationship with Trump and Russia. Yeah, they're all working together. Of course they are. Let's just see here. Someone's just said, Wendy, I just had a thought. Ducky knows he wasn't actually elected. His approval rating is dropping, so he's enjoying the pain his tariffs will put on Americans. He did say he wants revenge for 2020. Yes. Yes, you're right. And he's psychotic enough to go in that way of thinking, isn't he? Because everyone's an enemy to him. And he doesn't give a toss about the people that even voted for him anyway. He says, I don't like you. I just want your vote. And he says, a vote for me this time will be the last vote you ever make. Anyway, let's hope that part doesn't come true. But thanks for that point. I will leave it there, folks. Otherwise, I'll just go on and on and on and on and on. The next video you will see from me will be one of my reflections videos. Yeah, reflections. If you know of anything cool and interesting happening in the world, let me know in the comments. If there's something you want me to reflect on in terms of positive, something positive in the world, cool, funky, interesting, I'll take the main question of the week and then, of course, filter it through a kind of one of the philosophical masters of some kind or someone very wise. But then if there's something really cool happening in the world that you want more people to know about, let me know in the comments and I'll try and squeeze something in. All right, I will leave it there. Thank you so much. Thank you as well for your donations. Much appreciated. Big love, everybody. And see you soon. So watch out for my reflections video on Saturday. Yeah. And then, of course, Hogarth's Financial Astrology. I'll normally do a Monday video. So big love and bye-bye for now. Stay strong, everyone. One foot in front of the other. All right. Bye-bye.